Welcome to the Revelation of Hope podcast with your host, Alvin Bonds II. Join us each week as Alvin explores the relationship between leadership and families by interviewing leaders in different fields all over the world. Alvin believes that the success of tomorrow's leaders begins with the success of today's families.
Hello, and welcome to the Revelation of Hope podcast. I am your host, Alvin Bonds II. Today, I interview Ed Jackson. Ed is currently a Tennessee state senator, but Ed also started his career at the Southern Supply Company, where he worked for 7 years. He also worked as a salesman for the Tennant Company for 3 decades. With his wife, Marilyn, he co-owns Southern Comfort Coach, Snappy Tomato Pizza, and Marilyn Jackson's Gifts, all 3 small businesses based in Jackson, Tennessee. Since 2014, Senator Jackson has served as the Republican member of the Tennessee State Senate, District 27, which covers Madison County, Crockett County, Dyer County, Lake County, and Lauderdale County in Tennessee. Senator Jackson and his wife Marilyn celebrate 45 years of marriage this year. I'm grateful to have Senator Jackson here today for the podcast, but before we get to his interview, I want to talk just a moment about family and what family means to you. Family is different for everyone. Someone may have a mother and father that includes their family. Someone may also have brothers and sisters. Whatever family means to you, embrace that. Embrace that. And sometimes family may not be biological family. Family may not be the people who you share DNA with or you share blood with. The people that make up your family are the people who are there for you. Sometimes you may have to create family for yourself. That can be challenging when you don't have a lot of support. Who is your family? Who do you identify as a part of your family? When I hear about Senator Jackson and his wife being together for 45 years, that blows my mind. It is amazing to see. And that tells me that they have something. Something is working. Whatever their secret is, we want to know it. And you'll discover in the interview, one of the things that Senator Jackson says that is most helpful to him and his wife is their communication. You know, there's a level of communication, and that may seem basic, but it is vital. And it is something that they both attribute to the longevity of their marriage. So I invite you just to consider the communication within your relationships, the communication in your family, communication between you and a supervisor, communication between you and an employee, even you communicating with your children or people in the grocery store or people in line or people in traffic. What does your communication look like? And is it adequate? The only way we know if our communication is adequate is from the people with whom we are communicating. I may feel like what I'm saying is crystal clear, but the person with whom I'm speaking may have a puzzled look on their face or may keep asking questions. What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying. Or you may just see this vacant look or a vacant expression. They're hearing words come out of our mouths, but it's not being processed or comprehended. And there's lots of reasons for that. There could be distractions. There could be noise in the communication, whether it's physical noise, traffic, someone else talking, you're in a busy room. It could be internal noise like hungriness. You're tired or sleepy or stressed, anxiety. Any of those affect how we communicate. So I invite you just to reflect on family and communication today. So let's listen to my interview with Senator Jackson. Well, Senator Jackson, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm a native of West Tennessee. I'm married for 45 years this year to a young lady from Milan, Tennessee, and we both were educated here in West Tennessee. I went to Lambeth University my freshman year, and then to Memphis State University and that's where I met my wife. And I went into the Army for a while, came out, and then we married, have 3 children, and now 4 grandchildren.
Wow, congratulations. 45 years is a long time.
That's right. It's been a good 45 years too, I have to admit.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so you are a Tennessee State Senator. Tell us about that. What does your day involve?
Well, Alvin, is supposed to be a part-time job, but really, if you do it like it really should be done and could be done, it's full-time, which fortunately I'm able to devote full-time to it.
Yeah.
I'm retired from the company I was with for 35 years, traveling in 5 states in sales and sales management and marketing, and retired from that, helping a friend manage a couple of his businesses, and I was asked if I would be interested in running for office. So my wife and I talked about and prayed about it for a couple of months, and decided yes, I would do it. And so I ran and was fortunate enough to win. I'm going into my 4th year now into the Senate.
Okay.
It's been a really kind of recharged my batteries.
Yeah.
I guess is one thing that I could say about it. It's something that you can look back and you get asked to do things, or you go through legislation. You're there to actually as a public servant, and that's the way I approach this job as a public servant. And I want to. You can look back and say, this was done. I'll help to get this project or this legislation through that helps people that will. So that's really my reward for doing this job is how I measure if I'm effective or not. So that's I enjoy what I'm doing a lot.
And that's beautiful. And I believe the people of Tennessee appreciate the work you do. And before going into politics, you have been successful in business. Tell us how you got involved in being an entrepreneur.
Well, I don't know. I guess I've just always I've always enjoyed doing a lot of different things. So I did have 3 or 4 little small businesses. Had an ice skating rink. Had partners in a motor speedway racetrack. Had car wash. I've had a construction business, and done a lot of different things. After that, I decided to sell all of that at a pretty young age, and went into business with this company I was with for 35 years, and in sales and sales management, and retired from them. And then had my wife and I, she has had a store, gift and jewelry boutique business in town for 30 years, and I've helped her with that, along with a couple of things that I've had as well.
Yeah, and you've definitely have brought some energy and resources to the Jackson area. I'm interested in knowing, what are your thoughts? What's your philosophy of leadership?
Well, I think a good leader is somebody who looks at things and listens to what needs to be done. He doesn't think he knows everything. He learns from listening to people who may be experts in certain areas, and implements a plan and puts it together and asks people to help with the plan, get people to buy into it, and hopefully get a positive results out of your thoughts and plans.
Yes, and as I mentioned, I'm a marriage and family therapist in the Jackson area, and I work with families, and my passion is on strengthening families. And one thing I've noticed is how much families are needed, and the different makeups of a family there are, but there's a need for family dynamics. And for me personally, I believe that the success of tomorrow's leaders begins with the success of today's families. What do you think about that?
Amen. You're preaching to the choir. I totally agree. The family and the breakdown of the family in certain areas is distressed me tremendously. And you kind of try to think, what happened? Why did this happen? That there's not a father in so many homes.
Yes.
There's people are using drugs that are just unbelievable. It's ruining lives and families, and it's creating huge amounts of problems. And the family is the backbone of America, I think, and along with faith in God and the family. If we don't have that, we're not going to last long.
Yes. And I know you've been married 45 years and you have children and grandchildren. What has your family taught you about leadership?
Well, I guess there's not a guidebook when you have children.
No, sir.
And when you're married. So you kind of learn as you go along. And I think communication is the main thing that my wife and I have done, has kept us successful. Is we communicate on good things, bad things, whatever, work things out. Try to come up. We're not always on the same page on everything, and we try to work things out together. And we've have fun together, laugh about things, and if something tough happens, we try to make the best of it and move on and to more positive things. So that's what we've done.
Yes. And Senator Jackson, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about leadership, about family, just any words of encouragement you may have?
Yeah, I would encourage anybody that hears my voice or is listening, or that I believe I've had a pretty successful life so far, and I've had regrets like everybody does. Things I wished I had done, things I could have done differently or better. Don't dwell on those. Look back, learn from your mistakes, try not to make them again, and it's just and then move on and try to come up with positive results on things that you want to accomplish. Have goals, set goals, and communicate with your family members, and things usually work out a lot better that way. Stay away from the bad stuff. There are things out there that are tempting. Don't get tempted to do the things. I use the Bible as my rule book, and I try to abide what the Bible says.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please be sure to subscribe, as well as providing a rating and review. Every week, I will interview a different leader and invite them to share with us their views and perspective on the relationship between leadership and family. Be sure to visit my website. It's www.alvinbonds2nd.com. That's ALVINBONDSII.com. Have a great day.